6 signs a person likes you, even if you don't think so. Have you ever found yourself picking the petals of a flower, wondering if someone likes you? They like me. They don't like me. They like me. They don't like me. You may have this nagging feeling that someone is avoiding you, or perhaps you're overthinking things. It's not always easy to figure out how someone feels about you, especially if they're not being direct about it. But the truth is, there are subtle clues and signs that can help you figure out if someone is interested in you, even if they're not showing it overtly. It's completely normal to have doubts and uncertainties when it comes to understanding someone's feelings. We often second-guess ourselves, misinterpret actions, or assume the worst, especially when it comes to romantic interest or simply wondering if they have positive feelings toward us. The complexity of human interactions and emotions makes it even more difficult to read these signals. But what if we told you there are certain signs, even the tiniest of gestures, that might reveal if someone likes you? Here are 6 subtle signs that show someone might actually like you, even when you don't realize it. 1. They make an effort to be near you. You might think this one is too obvious, but surprisingly, it's something that can often be overlooked. Have you ever noticed someone constantly appearing around you? Maybe you catch a glimpse of them out of the corner of your eye, but no matter where you go, they always seem to be near. These little moments might seem insignificant at first, but when you start paying closer attention, you'll realize it's not a coincidence. When someone likes you, they often subconsciously seek ways to be closer to you. It's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's the small, subtle actions that reveal their interest. Here are a few examples of how they might subtly close the distance between you. Adjusting physical barriers. They might subtly move objects that create space between the two of you, such as shifting a plate, a cushion, or even a piece of furniture, just to reduce the distance in a natural way. Taking the same path. Have you ever noticed that they somehow end up walking down the same path as you, or taking the same route without planning it? It's as if they're always on your radar, naturally gravitating toward you. Proximity during group situations. If you're in a group setting, they might position themselves near you without making it obvious, just to be closer to your presence. On the other hand, if someone doesn't have any romantic or positive feelings toward you, they're less likely to go out of their way to be near you. In fact, they may actively avoid situations where they might encounter you. So, the next time you find yourself wondering about someone's feelings, pay attention to how often they appear around you and how they adjust their position to be closer. It's a subtle yet powerful sign that they might just be interested in getting to know you better. 2. They walk beside you. Have you ever wondered why walking side by side with someone is such a clear indicator of their feelings? It might seem simple, but it's actually a subtle but powerful sign of interest. Walking next to someone provides the perfect opportunity for natural interaction. It's not just about physical proximity. Walking side by side allows for easier conversation, smoother eye contact, and a shared sense of closeness. For those who like you, this physical alignment is a way to stay connected, both in conversation and in presence. They instinctively want to walk beside you because it makes communication feel more intimate and engaging. But here's the interesting part. What happens when they don't walk right next to you? Walking slightly behind you. If someone likes you but doesn't walk directly beside you, they might still be hesitant or shy about expressing it. Walking behind you allows them to stay close without taking the more obvious step of walking side by side. It's a more reserved way of showing interest, as they're still keeping an eye on you and trying to remain close, but they're too unsure or nervous to fully close the gap walking ahead of you. On the other hand, if they walk ahead of you, it can indicate a lack of interest in the immediate connection. They may be more focused on their own path or destination than engaging with you in that moment. In such cases, They might not be as concerned with fostering a connection or deepening the interaction with you. Ultimately, the key takeaway is that someone who likes you will always make an effort to be near you, whether through subtle actions like walking beside you or adjusting their pace to match yours. If they're consistently choosing to stay close, it's a sign that they value your presence and want to maintain that closeness, whether consciously or subconsciously. It's their way of making sure they're in your orbit without being too forward. 3. Their body language is open and inviting. When it comes to communication, body language plays a huge role, sometimes even more than words. We might not always be aware of it, but the way we carry ourselves can say a lot about our true feelings. In fact, body language is often an unconscious reflection of what we're thinking or feeling inside. If you've ever wondered whether someone likes you, paying close attention to their body language can give you some insightful clues. So, how can you tell if someone is interested in you just by their body language? Here are a few key signs to look for. Tilting their head towards you. Have you noticed that when someone is listening to you or talking with you, they tilt their head slightly in your direction? This small gesture shows that they are genuinely interested in what you have to say. It's an unconscious way of signaling their attention is on you and that they're open to engaging more deeply with you. Leaning in when laughing or talking. If someone enjoys being around you, they may unconsciously lean closer to you, especially when sharing a laugh or an interesting conversation. Leaning in is a sign of warmth and connection, as it's an instinctive way of getting closer to someone they feel comfortable with. It's their way of showing they're engaged and that they feel at ease in your company. Fidgeting with their hair. People often touch their hair when they're nervous, excited, or trying to make a good impression. If you notice them absent-mindedly running their fingers through their hair, especially while talking to you, it could be a sign that they're interested in you or feel attracted to you. It's a subtle, unconscious way of drawing attention to themselves and making sure they look their best around you. One of the most telling aspects of body language is foot direction. If someone's feet are pointed towards you, it means they are unconsciously positioning themselves to focus on you. Our feet tend to naturally follow our interests, so when someone angles their feet in your direction, it's a clear sign that they are fully present and engaged in the moment with you. Another important body language cue to watch for is how someone positions their torso. If they stand with their hands on their hips or expose their stomach area while facing you, it can indicate openness and a willingness to connect. These are vulnerable areas of the body, and when someone is relaxed enough to expose them in front of you, it shows they feel comfortable and at ease in your presence. Body language is a powerful yet often overlooked form of communication. It can reveal more about a person's true feelings than words alone can convey. When someone likes you, their body will often give them away without them even realizing it. So, the next time you're trying to figure out if someone has feelings for you, take note of their body language. Their subtle movements, gestures, and positioning could reveal a lot more than you think about their true emotions. 4. They sit up straight when around you. Have you ever noticed someone sitting up straight when they're near you? You might think it's just a sign of good posture, but believe it or not, sitting upright can reveal more than just a desire to look polished. It's often an unconscious attempt to impress or create a positive impression, especially when they are around someone they like. You may associate good posture with feelings of discomfort or nervousness, but in many cases, sitting up straight is actually a sign of confidence and self-awareness. When someone is sitting with their back straight, it's a subtle but powerful way of expressing that they want to present themselves in the best light possible. They're not just physically aligned in an effort to seem composed. They are also mentally aligning themselves to make a positive impact on you. Here's why this matters. It makes them appear taller and more confident. When someone sits up straight, they naturally appear more confident and commanding. By straightening their back and shoulders, they're not only improving their posture, but also increasing their overall presence. It's an instinctive way of signaling that they want to be perceived as strong and capable, especially in front of you. It draws attention to their strongest features. When you sit with your back straight, your body naturally highlights certain features, for example, your chest and shoulders. People who like you or are trying to make a good impression will often sit in a way that makes them appear more attractive or poised. It's a way for them to highlight their best physical traits and present themselves as their best self when they're around you. But here's the interesting part. If someone is sitting straight up, but isn't maintaining much of a physical distance between you and them, it likely means they're not trying to create space. Instead, they are choosing to stay close while consciously putting forth their best version of themselves. They might be feeling nervous or excited about being in your presence, so they're trying to control how they come across. It's not about discomfort or distance. It's about making sure they're being perceived in the most favorable light. In contrast, if someone is slouching or slumping in their seat, it may indicate they feel relaxed, but it could also show a lack of interest or an attempt to withdraw from the situation. However, if someone is consistently sitting up straight when near you, they are unconsciously signaling their desire to be noticed and their respect for the interaction at hand. Ultimately, sitting up straight when they're around you is one of those subtle signs that someone may be attracted to you or, at the very least, invested in making a good impression. So, next time you're hanging out with someone who's sitting tall and paying attention to how they come across, it could be their way of saying, "I care about how you see me," without actually saying the words. Their body is doing all the talking for them. 5. They blink less when looking at you. It may sound a bit strange, but the way someone blinks can actually reveal a lot about their feelings and emotions. While it may seem like a trivial gesture, the speed at which a person blinks can be a very accurate indicator of their emotional state or mindset in a particular situation, according to research cited by Psychology Today. Blinking is an unconscious action, but it is deeply connected to our emotions. When someone is feeling stressed, anxious, or uncomfortable, they tend to blink more rapidly and frequently. This is the body's natural response to tension or discomfort, or simply a way to relieve stress. Moreover, blinking also helps us clear out unwanted elements in our vision. It can act as a mechanism to clean up distractions or irritants, helping us focus better on what's in front of us. So, if someone blinks less when they're looking at you, it could be a sign that they are genuinely paying attention and don't want to miss anything. They are fully focused on you, possibly trying to show their interest and comfort in your presence. This subtle signal is something many people may not consciously notice, but if you pay attention to these small gestures, it becomes clear that they might be silently expressing their attention and care towards you. 6. They raise their eyebrows when greeting you. Have you ever observed someone's expression when they greet you, especially when they seem genuinely happy to see you? You might have noticed something interesting about their face that seems to happen instinctively. If you take a closer look, it's often related to their eyebrows. When people are feeling happy, excited, or even slightly surprised, they tend to raise their eyebrows in a natural, almost automatic way. It's a universal gesture that's deeply connected to positive emotions and excitement. The way our body reacts to good news or pleasant encounters is reflected in these tiny facial movements. So, if someone raises their eyebrows when they see you, especially if it happens unconsciously, It's generally a strong indication that they're truly happy to be in your presence. It's important to note, of course, that the absence of this eyebrow-raising gesture doesn't necessarily mean someone dislikes you. Not everyone expresses emotions in the same way, and some people may simply have a more neutral or reserved demeanor. However, if someone regularly raises their eyebrows and flashes a warm smile when they see you, that's a clear sign they are not only acknowledging you, but they're also excited or pleased by your presence. In fact, this subtle eyebrow movement can be a key indicator that someone is feeling positive emotions toward you, whether it's admiration, affection, or just simple enjoyment of your company. It's a gesture that often signals genuine interest and connection. When combined with other positive body language cues like a smile, open posture, or relaxed demeanor, it becomes even more obvious that they enjoy interacting with you and feel comfortable around you. To sum it up, the act of raising one's eyebrows is an unconscious but powerful signal of happiness, enthusiasm, and positive regard. When you see someone greet you with raised eyebrows and a smile, it's a good sign that they are happy to see you and likely enjoy your company. It's a small but significant way our bodies communicate emotions, making it one of those nonverbal cues that can help you understand how someone truly feels. Figuring out someone else's emotions can be a tricky and complex task, and it's never as simple as it seems. Sometimes, it might feel like you're overthinking everything, trying to read between the lines, wondering if the smallest gestures mean something more. Or maybe, just maybe, they really do like you. You're certainly not the only one who lies awake at night, replaying conversations, analyzing every word, every glance, and every little interaction, wondering what it all means. It's easy to get caught up in the uncertainty and try to decipher if someone's actions or expressions are pointing in a particular direction. Are they sending you signals of affection? Or are you simply reading too much into things? But here's the most important point to keep in mind. Whether or not someone likes you should never determine your worth. The way others feel about you doesn't define who you are. Your value comes from within. What truly matters is that you love and appreciate yourself. Self-love and self-worth are the foundation for everything else. When you know your value, the opinions of others, whether positive or negative, become less significant. Now, as you read through these signs and think about their potential meanings, do any specific people come to mind? Perhaps there's someone you've been wondering about, or maybe you're simply reflecting on how you might interpret these signals in the future. Either way, these little clues about body language and behavior can serve as helpful insights as you navigate relationships, whether they're personal, professional, or somewhere in between. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this topic. Have you ever found yourself questioning someone's feelings based on small interactions? Or maybe you've learned to trust your instincts and let go of the need for constant reassurance. Share your experiences or reflections in the comments below. I'm sure others will find them helpful too.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.